We're talking about the week ahead and some of the issues that have faced us over the past several days. We are now pleased to welcome Lora Ries. She's a senior research fellow for Homeland Security at the Heritage Foundation with over 23 years experience in the immigration and Homeland Security area, or arena, I should say. She has worked at the Department of Homeland Security and was most recently the acting deputy chief of staff. So we welcome Lora Ries to Breitbart News Sunday.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have heard this weekend that President Trump is going to be extending the limits on certain categories of visas. What do you hear about that? Some folks at Breitbart really wanted to ask about that because that's been a big issue. He promised to end some of the abuse that has gone on in some of these systems. You know, and I'm a fan actually of some of these ideas of legal immigration and bringing skilled people in, but some of these visas have been abused. So tell us the latest about what President Trump is going to do.
Well, I wouldn't want to venture to guess as to what he would sign. I know recommendations have gone in by the end of last week, but there's always vigorous debate inside the White House. And so I think it is dangerous to guess what will ultimately be signed. But we do know that there have been a number of visa programs that have been abused and defrauded. And when the bar is low to abuse a program and the benefit is high in terms of getting a visa to come here and to stay here and to work here with very little likelihood of being caught for such fraud, it is a formula that will continue until more integrity is brought to these programs. So that's kind of a constant. And when you mix in with that the sudden and drastic economic downfall we have experienced with COVID, people need to take a hard look at some of these programs and, ask themselves, where should we be drawing the lines? Who should be benefiting from this? We want to make sure that Americans get back to work. That's the priority. At the same time, we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot by going too drastic on tightening down on the economy. So it requires careful examination about this.
All right, so that's interesting. Now, President Trump is going to Arizona. We saw the rally in Tulsa, and he did talk a little bit about the wall. He's going to be inspecting how much has been built, the wall or fence, over 200 miles. And he made the point that people don't seem to be objecting to it too much anymore now that we've got this coronavirus pandemic and the whole world is shutting down their borders. We were among the first to close off travel to China. So he's going to go down to Arizona. Tell us about the progress on the wall. And I guess the question for nervous Republicans is what happens if President Trump loses, Joe Biden comes in, and the wall is still not completed?
So the Customs and Border Protection is building the wall as fast as it can. There are many obstacles to this, and frankly, the pre-construction planning and preparation takes longer than the actual building. So they are going as fast as they can and moving obstacles out of the way in terms of lawsuits and property issues and environmental issues that Congress long ago authorized waivers for. And I will tell you that the landowners are for this when it comes to preventing drugs from crossing the border and the gang activity. So it's certainly a benefit. In terms of if Joe Biden were to win and the wall isn't done, you have to ask yourself, what's the definition of done? What does done look like? The Trump administration has set a goal for a number of miles and is working very hard to achieve that by the end of the calendar year, beginning of next year. I would imagine that if Biden were to win, any remaining construction that would be planned he'd bring to a halt, which is not a good thing. When you talk to the landowners down there, they say this helps. When you talk to the Border Patrol agents down there, they say this absolutely helps them protect our country, stop the drugs from coming over and catch illegal immigrants and the gangs and the drug cartels.